Okay, so Nephron Anatomy. So with the nephron, we have two main structures. We have the renal corpuscle and the tubular apparatus. There are two types of nephrons, which is the juxtamedullary nephron, which is quite longer, and then we have the cortical nephron, which is the shorter one here. Now, the two parts of the nephron, I'm just going to use this juxtamedullary one right here. So we have the renal corpuscle here, which is this structure here, here, and here. There's two parts to it. So we have the glomerular capsule, which can also be called the Bowman's capsule. And then inside of the Bowman's capsule, we have the glomerulus, which is just the network of blood capillaries inside. Starting with the tubular apparatus. Okay, so here, this whole deal is the tubular apparatus. There's several parts inside of it, but the whole structure of this part would be the tubular apparatus. This would be the renal corpuscle, and together they make up the nephron, okay? So with the tubular apparatus parts, we have the proximal tubule, which is here, and it has two parts as well. So it's going to have the proximal convoluted tubule and then the proximal straight tubule. Okay, so convoluted, straight, proximal. Then we start the loop of Henle. With the loop of Henle, we have the thin descending limb. So thin descending. We have the hairpin, which is just the center of the bottom of that loop. We have the juxtamedullary nephrons is the only ones that have this one, but this part is called the thin ascending limb. Okay, and then we have the thick ascending limb. Now, if you're looking at the cortical nephron, you'll see we have the proximal convoluted tubule, the proximal straight tubule, the thin descending limb, the hairpin, and the thick ascending limb. So it's missing that thin ascending limb. Okay. Next we have the distal convoluted tubule. And here is our distal convoluted tubule on that one. We have the collecting duct system. So we have the cortical collecting duct, which is just here and here. This part would be cortical collecting duct here. Sorry, this is cortical collecting duct. Then we have the papillary collecting duct, which you can see here. So cortical collecting duct would be all of this. Papillary collecting duct would be here. So let's run through the parts of the nephron one more time. So we have the renal corpuscle, which is made up of the glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule. We have the proximal convoluted tubule, proximal straight tubule, the thin descending limb, the thin ascending limb, the thick ascending limb, the distal convoluted tubule, and the cortical collecting duct. Collecting duct, papillary collecting duct. This is your juxtamedullary nephron and your cortical nephron. Okay.